Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
good. How are you doing?
I am okay. I just realized, hopefully my children will be quiet.
Oh, I just heard my daughter say she's doing an Instagram live again.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
so let's just get started. I'm just
sure.
gonna dive right in.
I'm ready.
What are you reading today?
I have started American Royals by Catherine McGee, and this is for our episode that we're recording next week. It's our Unabridged book club pick for May, and I'm really excited because we are going to try something new. We're going to do, I know that you know this, I'm telling everybody else. I know that you know that. I feel like I'm explaining it to you. We're going to do a happy hour book club and have an IG live with everyone after we release the episode so that other people can hop on and talk about it with us. So,
Yes.
But yeah, I'm loving it so far. So for anyone who doesn't know, the premise is that George Washington accepted the offer to be king of the new United States, and now there's American royalty. And I'm getting like the crown vibes and the selection vibes. I mean, I know you're further than I am in it, but
yes,
I really like
it.
But
Luckily, since you said that, I'm also still reading American Royals for the third Instagram live in a row. Jill just said I'm struggling to get into anything reading wise, and that's me. Like, I really like American Royals, but when I have downtime, I find, because I'm working on the podcast so much and I'm working on different things, and then when I have downtime, I just find that it is really difficult for me to get into reading. So that's where I am at. So I am also reading American Royals because we are recording an episode on it next week. So
yes,
I am continuing to read that, and I really do like it. I think it will be a really fun book to discuss, and I'm really excited about the happy hour book club that we're going to have for Instagram. Yes.
I'm really thrilled.
Okay, let's get into the episode. Oddly, I did not take as many notes this episode as I have for the other episodes. So I don't know if it was, I was taking notes during the whole thing, but they just weren't, I didn't find myself making notes as much. Mm-hmm. So guess what were your overall impressions?
So I was thinking before we started about how to articulate that, and I don't know that I can sum it up. I thought there were some really strong scenes, and I thought that there was some great character development that happened. There were parts of it that felt a little more soapy than I think previous episodes had felt. Yeah. And it's not that I don't like that, but for this show, I prefer not soapy. I like this stuff that is more realistic and more just kind of closely observed, more than when the drama gets really ramped up. But yeah, I mean, overall, I was definitely engaged the whole time. But yeah, I'm having a hard time coming up with just one impression to share. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, same. I felt in and out. Like, I felt like I was really engaged at some points, and then at some points I just felt a little. I guess it's because it felt a little overtly dramatic that it didn't feel like true to the book, which the book is so like subtle, and some of it felt really, I don't know. It just felt a little contrived, but I mean, there were parts that I really thought were good. So let's just talk about that. What were some of the things that worked for you?
So I have two in my head here. All right, I'm going to do one, and then if it's okay, if you don't choose my other one, maybe we can come back.
Okay,
I'll get to it. Totally. So the first one I loved is one of those moments that's just this really closely observed. It's a scene between Mia and Pearl, and Pearl is sitting. This is after Lexi's abortion, and Mia comes out, and Pearl is sitting over the vent, and you see her shirt's kind of blowing up, and Mia tells her to let her have some of the warmth. And they sit there and they have this conversation about what had happened with Trip. And Pearl talks about why she had decided to sleep with him, and that it was almost this calculating, like she wanted something that would be fun and easy and simple. And it just felt really authentic. Both actresses are amazing. And it just was really sweet. And I loved it. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done too. For me, I thought that the confrontation between Elena and Izzy, when Izzy's talking about Mia's that photograph in the New York Times, and they're having this confrontation, and Izzy says to Elena, "Are you jealous?" or something to the effect that, "Are you jealous because she's in the New York Times and you'll never be?" I mean, I thought like I've said in other discussions, I really think the actress who plays Izzy does a great job with the role. Like, I feel like she stays true to the character. She does not overdo her, and so I really thought that was a good scene. That was something that I thought that did well.
I agree.
Jamie, we are discussing Little Fires Everywhere. We are discussing the episode, like the episodes that are on Hulu. We are in episode 5. We've been recapping those, so that's what we're discussing. So we're kind of talking about it and kind of tangentially to the book. So that's kind of what we're discussing. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I also thought it is so, like, I fought a lot with my mom when I was that age. And I think there's a sense that you know how to push your mom's buttons, and you know that Izzy knows exactly how to get at her mom, and is not afraid to take that dig and to take that step and say something like that. Yeah, I thought that was really good too.
Yeah. So what's something that did not work?
Can I do my other?
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yes,
so
you're totally.
Part of me, so there were those back-to-back scenes where there were some hard truths being laid down. And one of them I like more than the other, but one of them is when Mia has that conversation with Lexi.
Bye, Jamie.
Oh, bye, Jamie. When she has that conversation with Lexi about, Pearl might be willing to continue doing things for you, but I am not, and just draws that line. And then the paired scene is with Elena in New York with her old boyfriend, who we had seen at the beginning, when she basically says that she'll sleep with him. And he's like, what do you think is going to happen? That one I relished much more, I have to say. I was both glad Mia did that with Lexi, but I also felt bad because she's a kid.
Yeah.
And she's just been through something horrific. But also, if nobody ever tells her this kind of truths, she's going to grow up to be her mom.
Right.
So I was a little torn with that one. But the pairing of it, I thought, was so smart in emphasizing once again the Elena-Lexi comparison. And when we see, anyway, I'll just say there were a lot of paired scenes with Lexi and with Elena that I
really liked that. And then the name of the episode was Duo, which I thought was really clever. I think that the naming of the episode is so clever.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, what's the name? And like, I missed it when it comes up on the screen, so I had to go back and look for it. But I thought that was the naming is so clever, and I'm always interested to see what they do with that.
Like with the makeup with Lexi at the end, and then that mirrors what Elena had done earlier, just the way they're using makeup as a shield. And I mean, there were a lot of nice moments like that I really enjoyed. So, so that was my second sneaky.
Yes. You're allowed. I'll allow it.
Thank you so much.
So what was something that didn't work for you?
Yeah. All right. I've got to choose. I mean, the Trip and Pearl thing, I wanted to like that much more than I did. And I've been really trying to give those parts of the show that focus on the boys more grace. And just to be like, well, the women are so strong, maybe they're okay. I was not convinced. Like, there was a sweet moment when they were on the swings together, when they held hands.
Yeah.
But the dialogue was not so much working for me. I don't know. So that I'm just still not there with them or any of their scenes together.
Well, and also, like, to think that he is going to go read Sylvia Plath after this one see, I mean,
yeah.
I love my husband, and even when we were first dating, which we met when I was very young, or 19, I don't feel like he would have ever gone and read Sylvia Plath, because that is something that you know what I mean? Like, it just seemed very off, you know.
Well, and I think we're supposed to believe that he wants to do better and be better for her. But it's just, I really want it to work.
Yeah.
But it's not. So how about you? What was something that did not work for you?
Well, I'm just going to go back to kind of something that from last episode. I still feel like Mia is being positioned as the villain in this. Like, I feel like I find myself feeling like rooting against her, which I did not do when I read the book. I think that, I don't know that it's Kerry Washington's portrayal. I just think it's the script and the way that the differences in what is occurring in the adaptation versus what I believe was true in the book. So that is really difficult for me. Like, some of the scenes where I just feel very like, I don't know. Like, I just felt like I said last time, I felt like Mia's portrayal in the book was just so much more nuanced, and I felt like I could see her point of view. And at times I don't know, I just get really angry with her, and I feel like I feel like she's being positioned as a villain. And then I mean, a lot of the stuff with the kids, excluding Izzy, I just I'm just not, it just kind of takes me out of the episode sometimes. And even the part with Lexi's abortion and all of that, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know that I feel connected enough to the characters to feel like what I feel like I should be feeling during those scenes.
Yeah. Well, and I think we've had such distance built with Lexi.
Yeah.
And I had a lot.
Well, and you're also rooting for Pearl, because you know, you see clearly that Lexi is using Pearl, and that whole scene, like with the your favorite scene that we were talking about with them sitting at the heater, and when Mia realizes that Lexi is basically just using Pearl for what she can get out of her when she uses the name and all that stuff. And I mean, that tender moment between Mia and Pearl is so, I mean, it's gut-wrenching, but it's also like you realize that how much Mia loves her. And then knowing that Lexi is continuously trying to, like, using and just so unaware, it just makes it hard to empathize when you feel like you have not been, you know, close to that character for the first
and I think
episodes.
It was so telegraphed to the way that she is talking about BB, and that, you know, you shouldn't have kids if you can't take care of them. And it's just, again, it's been a while since I've read the book, so I'm surprised by a lot. But so when things like that are telegraphed so obviously, I just feel like in the book, everything was much more subtle and nuanced. And so those sorts of things were allowed to be just a more natural part of the development of the plot. And here it feels very kind of orchestrated. For sure. And I get that TV is, the format is obviously quite different. And I think there are things you have to have in a television show to make it work, but the foreshadowing doesn't have to be quite so blunt.
And along those same lines, I feel like in the adaptation, I feel like Izzy's like this, her like conviction that Maylin belongs with BB, it does not seem founded at all. Like, I mean, except for the fact that her mother
I was gonna say
a different
it's
way.
all in opposition.
But I don't feel like that has been, I don't feel like her conviction and like what she's saying has been proven for what she's arguing for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally does. I keep hoping that is going to be developed more in a future episode. I don't know if it's just too early in the whole process for that.
Yeah.
But I think for everyone, their opinions are founded on very little. I mean, honestly, Elena has the best case because that's her friend. Yeah. But beyond that, and the Elena investigation, like, I liked that she went back and met with the boyfriend that they had in the flashback. And I thought that contrast to show that he's been so successful and that he's so critical of her with the plan.
Yeah.
But the investigation just feels very, I don't know.
Yeah, that is the part, like, that did feel soapy. Like, it was like she's there from this, and she got all this access, which does not, in like bribing the lady for the roster with Magnolia cupcakes, that all seemed really absurd. Yeah, for sure.
I just, yeah.
So, what is your favorite, or let's say favorite or most effective scene, do you think, for the, because we've talked about some of the ones we like, but what, I definitely have one in mind, but do you have one that you think is your favorite?
Just single scene in this episode?
Yes, just in this episode.
I mean, I will say that the music at the end, the uninvited, the Alanis Morissette, I thought was so, like, it doesn't matter what else is happening. The use of that music to accompany what is happening on screen, which is then, of course, great, is really well done. And the way that's sort of playing out all of these threads that have been developed through the episode, I really like that. I love, you've talked about the soundtrack from the beginning, and that one, it was almost this moment where you just had to stop and watch because the music is so powerfully illustrating what's happening on the screen. I thought,
and great. So suspenseful. Like, I'm just, I mean, I think that the way that they are doing that at the end of every episode is picking like one of those songs from the 90s and slowing it down and using it to illustrate what the actions are happening at the end of the story. I mean, at the end of the episode, I think that is brilliant. So I really like that. For me, like, I mean, I wouldn't say it's favorite, but like the most gut-wrenching, like gut-wrenching scene that impacted me the most is the scene with BB and Linda and the social worker. I mean, because you feel Linda's desperation and not wanting to let her daughter go, and then you feel BB's like, just like, I remember when my kids especially were just trying not to like snatch her away, but then you like, I felt like that did a really good job of just showing that whole dynamic, and that how both, like, I mean, you can just see both of these women are like, they just desperately want, they just both desperately love this little girl, and you feel both, like, I mean, you feel the struggle for both of them, and I mean, I just thought it was gut-wrenching. I mean, that's why I hesitate to say favorite, but like, I just felt so impacted by that, and I mean, it just made me feel nauseous because you can see both sides, and it's like, it's really hard because they're both coming from a place of love, but it's just, so that was mine for sure.
I agree. I thought that was really good. I did think Mia in the car at the end,
that was really weird, because she was just like
deflating. It was just like, and I know why it had to happen for the plot, but that's what it felt like, was this plot machination that I don't.
Yes,
I guess she was dropping her off, but
I know. That's what I wonder, because they definitely didn't. My mom just said, "I've got to watch this." Oh, you can now. She has access to Hulu now, so she can. Right. And it'll be really fresh in her mind. But anyway, that was the scene. But like, I didn't like how that was. It seemed like Mia was just there, kind of stalking her. And I was like, why is she here? Did she bring BB? Because I think if they would have made that, it was clear that she had brought her, but it just, because then she drove off, and it's like, did you just leave BB there?
Right. Well, how does she know what time?
It was just weird. But I thought that both the actresses played that very well, because it wasn't over the top. It was so subtle.
The BB character there is more restrained than she has been in a lot of scenes.
Yes, I agree. Well, that's
I mean, that's it.
All right, is there anything that we didn't talk about? I mean, I do like the way that they're starting every episode with a flashback. That then like is like a thread for the whole show. But
and I wasn't as crazy about that early on, but I think the last couple have been more powerful.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I thought when Jamie says to Elena, again, this goes back to that hard truths thing. What's it like being this much of a narcissist?
Mm-hmm.
And that you are a sad person living a sad life. It's not my job to make your life bearable. But it is. It's like she sees everyone outside of her and her family, well, even her family, as
Yeah.
pieces that she is controlling.
Yeah.
And when they don't do their job, she just doesn't know how to function. I mean, the way she's not calling Bill back is just
Well, and the other thing about this show is that they plant seeds, and I'm always like, are we going to find out what happened? Like with Jamie and Elena, apparently something happened 10 years prior, which is
right.
Which is still when she was married to Bill, and like what was that she did? And I'm just like, I want to know now. Like I don't want to have to, but.
And I will say the pace at which we've been watching this, normally I would be like,
binge.
Yeah, just, all right, next episode. Yep, absolutely. And so I like that we're doing this because I do think slowing it down has made me more reflective. But it's definitely hard because there are cliffhangers in every episode that are just really challenging to wait.
Yeah.
So I'm not watching the next episode before we talk because I know I won't be able to keep it straight in my head. But it's been tough. There have been a couple that I like.
Well, I mean, to me, like for all the episodes, this one, I guess because like the ending of this one is the one that I had to be like, no, you're not going to watch the next one because it needs to be fresh in my mind when we do the recap. But I really, the way the whole episode ended with, especially with the Mia thing, and like when Elena's at Mia's parents' house, I was like, I have to know.
It was, yes. Yeah, and I'm anxious to watch the next one. So
me too.
Next Wednesday.
Not too long. Yeah. All right. Well, we've discussed the whole episode, and I think, does anybody who's here want to? I know some people said that they haven't watched it, but they. Yeah. Does anybody have anything they want to add about the episode? If you liked it, if you didn't like it.
All right. I know.
Okay.
I was looking.
Well, you feel free to type in if you have something you want to say about the episode. Our final, or give me one for this live is one of my favorite. And I see my sister is the one here, so she's gonna love this because she is a true music buff. But our give me one for this episode is one of your favorite 90s songs. So if you.
Oh, I know. We'll have to come back.
Oh, Caroline just said, I was late. I was so mad about how Mia was portrayed in the episode. Yeah, Caroline, I was telling Jen, I feel like she is being villainized throughout the whole series. Like, I feel like I'm rooting against her, which I did not feel in the book.
And I don't feel, Jill, oh my gosh, that was one of my, I was having to make choices. Jill says Everlong Foo Fighters. Yeah, I should say for everyone, I am putting these up on YouTube. I'm working on the last one now, and then I'll put this one up. So if anybody is like, has missed some and you want to know what we thought about previous episodes, they're available. I messed up on the first two, so those are not available, but we have 3, 4, and we'll have 5. So yes. Jill, I also love Foo Fighters, and Everlong is my absolute favorite Foo Fighters song. My son, as part of his homework the other week, had to ask each of the people in our family what their favorite song was, and I was having all these hard decisions, so I played him several of my options for right now.
Jill definitely had the better taste in music. Mm-hmm. But so Jen, what is your favorite 90s song? And please, so any of you that have 90s song favorites, please let us know what they are. We are so curious. Because the reason we're asking this is because, like in the episodes, they are using all this 90s music in a really unique way. So sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, that's okay. So Foo Fighters Everlong was one thing I was trying to choose between. I also thought about Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit, which I played for my son. But I settled on, and I did not play for this for my son. You guys will understand why. Pearl Jam's Jeremy. And I think that is so evocative to me. So I graduated from high school in 1994. And I just think it was evocative to me about what was going on at the time. But also I think of the way it was really predictive of things that were going to happen that hadn't happened yet. And how, for me, that song was about something that I had not heard of very much before. And then I think now of our kids and that, anyway. So I just think it was like, it was almost innocent at the time that I could not know or think about something like that happening. Anyway, so yes, Jill, I think.
Caroline said Pearl Jam. So I had a boyfriend in high school who was obsessed with Pearl Jam, and especially the song Better Man.
Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah, that's a great song.
I will say we got to see them in concert a couple years ago, and they were amazing. I didn't get to see them when they were like at the height of their popularity, but my husband and I also, we both love 90s music. So,
well, and a little known fact, and probably to our listeners, a little known fact is Jen's husband is a music like prodigy, like buff. He knows all the things about the music.
All the trivia. He has a new Twitter account that he's just putting like random trivia on because it's just all in his brain. Anyway, so Sarah, what about you? What's yours?
Oh my gosh. Like, you guys are putting all these, I'm embarrassed.
Well, you're younger than I am. So that might be part of it too.
So I graduated in 97. But I was the queen of the cassette single. So, like I never would buy the whole album. I had all the cassette singles, and I only listened to the songs that were on the radio.
Okay. Yeah, Ashley, you would love the way they use that song. It's amazing.
It's awesome.
I don't know who redid it anyway.
So I really liked the song. It's so embarrassing now because you all have all these like.
Oh my gosh, I love Color Me Bad.
So Jill's on here, so she's going to definitely call me out. So Color Me Bad, love that. I love the song To Be With You by Mr. Big.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I love the song Two Princes by the Spin Doctors.
Oh yeah, that's a great song too.
But I was always way more, look at Jill, she gave me that crazy face because Jill always liked all the Ashley's laughing at me too. So I liked all the poppy stuff and Jill liked all the like alternative stuff, and she still likes that stuff. She listens to the same. Ashley,
except it's not silent.
Ashley's silently judging me.
In a very
loud. I don't have great taste in music, so that's my. That is my cross to bear. I like all the Jill liked alternative, and I was too. Like the pop. What if it was on the radio and like it had a catchy tune? That was what I liked.
I mean, I started poppier and then got more into grunge as I got older. But definitely like my senior year in high school was the peak, I feel like, of a lot of that. So
Ashley says flannels and combat boots.
That was my uniform.
Oh, thank you, Meredith.
Yay! It is a good song. Of course, all I'm thinking about, do you remember the Sesame Street version of Two Princes when it had two little puppet princes? That's what's in my head right now.
I did not watch that.
Gavin Rossdale. Oh my gosh, I saw him in the concert more than anybody else. Well, Dave Matthews Band and Bush were the two I saw in concert most.
Oh, Caroline says she was both depending on her boyfriend or crush.
Yeah.
I feel
oh my gosh, remember when Glycerine came out? Okay.
Jill liked Bush and all of those.
Yeah. I got to see Bush in concert when No Doubt and Goo Goo Dolls opened for them. So that was when Bush was bigger than No Doubt at that point, which obviously changed. But
so a little known fact, I love the Goo Goo Dolls back in the day. So I've seen them in concert like 3 times.
We saw them in concert not too long ago. They were on tour with Matchbox 20.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And Kirk and I went with my sister and her husband, and we got to see them. And I felt like I was in college again.
Well, we actually went to see, Jill and I went to see, and David and my husband and a bunch of friends, we went to see Bon Jovi, which was awesome. Because again, my taste in music. But we went for my birthday, and the Goo Goo Dolls opened for them. So it was like a double.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, we were trying to tell my boys about Bon Jovi the other day, the song like Living on a Prayer, because that was the song Kirk wanted to play for them when we had to tell my youngest. And I was telling them about how when I was in an elementary school band, I never thought I was cooler than when we played Living on a Prayer. And so I had my flute, right? I had braces. I had big old glasses. I had the perm with all the bangs.
This is like Unabridged Podcast True Confessions.
I mean,
right now, people.
You should see. My mom still has the VHS somewhere because, of course, we had to video it. And I'm like, we're getting ready to play my part coming in, and I'm like, woo! I'm like, I was so excited because I think it is the coolest thing to be playing flute while our band plays Living on a Prayer. Oh my gosh.
Hey, we've all found common ground here. That's with
right.
Bon Jovi. Look at it all.
See.
And Ashley said, I don't know if she said she likes Bon Jovi or Goo Goo Dolls, but she said we found an overlap. So maybe she's not judging me silently any longer.
Loudly/silently. Yeah.
So if we have a soundtrack for Unabridged Pod, we can use Bon Jovi because.
That's right.
Yeah. So. Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
Anybody give me one friend. Anything else?
I think that's it. Yeah, I'm really interested because I feel like we've hit midway in the season. So I really think things are probably going to ramp up after this.
Oh yeah, Ashley said she likes Bon Jovi too. Bon Jovi's universal.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Well, we will be back Wednesday to do episode 6.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to it. I guess I'll put on last Wednesday we did 8. It seemed like 8 was better for people because of work commitments and all of that, and especially if someone's on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So I'll put that back up in stories again, but if it's close, we'll probably go with 8 because it seemed like more people were able to hop on. So.
Yep, and I'll put it on YouTube again as soon as I can get it uploaded.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys. Jill just said if you've been to a frat party, you like Bon Jovi. # truth. All right, guys. Thank you for joining in. We will see you next time.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.
Yes, have a great weekend. Goodbye.